Good morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Denzimus, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share this video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back. And I thank you for your love and support. Now, one of the most disturbing things you will ever have to accept is that a person wants to be with you, chooses to be with you, wants to be with you, intends to be with you, and then you let them in. With an open heart. And eventually, they will start to abuse you. So, you let in somebody with an open heart. You accept them into your life, and then they start to abuse you. Now, the narcissist is number one, they are sick. The narcissist is sick, very unhealthy, mentally disturbed, and usually their only means of survival is when they have got somebody to abuse. So when the narcissist is with you, they will abuse you for one major reason. They need your supply, they need your fuel. And usually to get that fuel, they take some time to master your energy. So they will master the way you move, they will master how you do things, they will master the way you react to different situations. And when they have finally mastered, which usually happens in the first, let's say, about 3 to 6 months, they take a lot of time to study you and master you and your every move. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to hear? What don't you want to hear? And all the other details, you guys already know. When they have mastered you, that is exactly when you hand over your life to them. You're a man, you hand over your life to the woman. If you're a woman, you hand over your life to this man. Now, as you continue to heal after narcissistic abuse, you will understand that you will never ever in your entire life allow yourself to submit to this kind of demons. So you will have that sense of self-respect and self-value, where you will usually add some more value to yourself and you will stop giving your power away to so many people. So these individuals, they will master your life. So what they will do, they will know which button to push. They know that when they push the red button, you kick off. When they push the yellow button, you'll be happy. Or they will make you happy. You'll be excited. They will push this button, you'll be angry. They will push that button, you will cry. But you see, empaths are not stupid. An empath, ladies and gentlemen, they are not stupid. And that's what some people don't understand, especially these toxic people. You're not stupid. You just try to love authentically. You try to get into relationships or friendships with people because you mean the best for them. You know what I mean? You don't just get into relationships to abuse and destroy people. You mean well for those individuals. But sometimes the narcissist will usually test your patience, you know. I've seen this thing with the greater narcissist. I remember back in the days when I was with this greater narcissist, I kept on catching up on these red flags, you know what I mean? I would catch up on these red flags. I think we didn't stay a very long time together, maybe up to 3-4 months or something like that. So I would see these red flags, then I was like, okay, that for me seems like a toxic behavior, but I'm going to just carry on and, you know, just play along. So in those days, I was just playing along with the greater narcissist, which he didn't actually know, you know what I mean? And then when I knew that, okay, so this individual is trying to get very deep into my skin, I just woke up one day and I walked away. I remember in those first 2 days when I walked away. Actually, the first day, as soon as I reached my destination, the greater narcissist called me and was like, oh, you know what? I realized, you know, things were not going well during these weeks we've been together. You know, I want to come back. Actually, the greater narcissist proposed that they wanted to come the next day to visit me. And I told the greater narcissist, you're not coming to me. You're not coming to see me. Actually, to be precise, I want to take some time off for myself and think about a lot of things. You know what I mean? So eventually, the greater narcissist knew that it was a discard. So they would see this discard coming. You know what I mean? I was discarding this greater narcissist without actually having to injure this person. Because I've told you guys that normally an empath will have the ability to cause them an injury, but sometimes you choose not to do it. You know, so I was doing it in the most softest way possible that I don't injure this individual. But either way, the narcissist cannot handle any form of discard, whether you have done it abruptly, whether you have done it brutally, whether you have done it in a very soft, easy way. They cannot handle a discard. A discard is a sense of rejection. So they are feeling that they are being abandoned. You know, there's that little child inside of them being abandoned off the roadside, and you know their parents are running away. So, you know what I mean? So it triggers those abandonment wounds, very, very deep abandonment wounds within them, and sometimes it really injures them very deep, and they can take a while to recover from these kind of injuries. So I told the greater narcissist, that is it. So you're not going to have to see me again, and I need time for myself. I cannot go into this kind of cycles. You know what I mean? Because you see, when I was with this greater narcissist, which I've already told you guys, this was also a spiritual narcissist. I was very clear with my intentions. I told this greater narcissist, look, I've already dealt with the narcissist before, so I'm not expecting to see even the slightest sign of abuse. You know what I mean? Those kind of emotional manipulation. I don't want even to see the slightest of it. So maybe in that time, this person didn't understand what I was saying. You know what I mean? Because you see, sometimes when you're saying things, those guys are not listening. You know, you're talking to them, you're sitting with them, you tell them this, hey, listen, this is what I want, that's what I want, don't do this or don't do that. A lot of times you're speaking to an empty balloon. So everything you're saying is going out through the other ear. You know what I mean? So they wasn't listening, but I was very serious. You know what I mean? I told this greater narcissist, listen, I've been through abuse. It has been hell. And I'm not going to tolerate any form of manipulation whatsoever. But when I kept on seeing those things, because, you know, these are guys, they're like, I've told you guys recently, they are on autoplay. This is something they cannot control. So the cycles just keep on coming, you know what I mean? The patterns just keep on, you know, showing up. And they do not usually they will push you to the limit. You know what I mean? They will push you to the limit because I've told you guys, these people, they are addicted to your reaction. You know, they're addicted to your supply. So the more they make you suffer, and you're somewhere they are suffering, you know, you are in agony, you are in pain, you're crying, and all those kind of things. They're enjoying those kind of things. That's what fuels these demons. So the more supply you give them, the more buttons they push. They are pushed one button, it made you cry. The next day they're going to push another button. It will make you very sad. It will make you very frustrated. You will become very stressed. you're in fighting, you're in arguments every day in, day out. So they're going to keep on pushing these buttons. But you see, they can only push these buttons for as long as you can take. Because believe me, that moment is going to come when they are going to push that button. And that button is going to close out everything for them. You know what I mean? And usually they will notice, they will know that sometimes they have done the wrong thing. They know usually, but you see, for them it's like they understand what they have done, that they have done the wrong thing to you, but they are incapable of self-reflection, and they don't want to take accountability. So they don't want to come around and actually acknowledge that they have done something wrong, or, you know, forgive me, or this like that. You guys already know that you've been with these narcissists. I want you to tell me which one of them has ever come out to you and they have acknowledged the wrong they have done. You know, a lot of you guys, the black sheep, you have already left your families. You've walked away from your dysfunctional family units. Have you ever heard any message? Have you ever seen any message from your narcissistic parents, and they have come around and told you that, sorry, my son or my daughter, I did something wrong, or this and this? They will acknowledge that at the end of their lives. They will usually do this on their deathbed when they know that that is the end of this game over. You know what I mean? Like I've told you guys in my videos yesterday. But as long as they live, they will not do that. Because for a narcissist to come around and apologize to you, or sometimes acknowledge something wrong they have done to you, it's a very big blow in their face, because it's like you are finally holding them accountable, and they have always been running away from this accountability for years, you know. So there's no way you think that a narcissist is going to come around and acknowledge the wrong they have done to you. They can sometimes do it here and there a little bit, you know, just to get you hooked in, and to get you back into their lives. Maybe that time you're trying to leave, or you're trying to discard them, and you're trying to get to walk away. So they may sometimes try to come around and fool you a little bit, take a little bit of accountability, just because they want to suck you back in and, you know, continue this cycle of abuse, because they are very worried about permanently losing you as a source of supply. You know what I mean? So the buttons will keep on being pressed, and they will push all these buttons. My narcissistic parent pushed all those buttons. Of course, I kept on talking about the same thing again and again. I told them, listen, this is not how things are supposed to be done. I don't like the way things are moving. I'm not happy with this. I've been talking about this thing for a very long period of time. You know what I mean? And then at some point I was like, okay, so I think it's time for myself now. You know what I mean? You know, there comes a time when you choose that it's time for yourself. It's time for yourself to walk away. You know what I mean? And sometimes I've told you guys, when the empath ever decides or chooses to walk away, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter who you are. You can call for backup. Nobody will ever bring that person back to you. They will never come back to you. As for giving as an empath is, they will stay for as long as it takes, until they know that, okay, so this one, they cannot handle this anymore. It has caused them so much problems, you know, health problems, mental problems, and they're like, that's it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can see these things in there, even sometimes when you're having these sessions, how much the narcissist will push somebody's buttons. You know what I mean? But there's only one button the narcissist is afraid to push, and that is the red button. So the red button simply means stop. You know, they will push all the other buttons, of course. They will be pushing every button they can think about. But when they push the red button, ladies and gentlemen, that button means stop. But sometimes a time will come when because I've told you these guys, they're out of control, and they're not in charge of themselves. So that time will come when they are going to push that red button. And that is the red button which is going to actually push you away and make you to walk away. So for the empath, you will know that a particular individual in your life has pushed the red button when you finally decide to acknowledge what is enough and how much you can take, and you're ready to walk out of their lives. And usually, you know, empaths are people, they don't want to empaths, normally you give people a lot of chances. You know what I mean? You will stay around, you will bear with them, you will forgive, you'll give them second chances, third chances, fourth chances. Have you seen a lot of guys, these people? who have been in those entanglements, and they are hovered the first time, then they're hovered the second time. And I know people that have been hovered 20 years. They are walking in and out of narcissistic relationships for 20 years. They cannot get away. It's because you're trying to give them another chance. Okay, so they come back and they cry a little bit. They have those crocodile tears. Oh, you know what, I did the wrong thing last time. Okay, come around, forgive me and, take me back and those kind of things. They're doing all those fake apologies. And sometimes the empath, you are going to be, because sometimes the empath, they may fall into this deception and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So sometimes you will usually take them back. And I'm going to do a whole video on this as to why you're keeping on being hovered by those kind of individuals. They pushed a button, you walked away, you came back. They pushed another button, you walked away, you came back. So they're going to keep on this game because this is like, anytime when a narcissist hovers you, it gives them a lot of power. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, okay, so this particular individual, they can never get away. You know what I mean? They can never get away from them. They know inside of their mind that you can never get away from them. So they know that wherever they want you, they're just going to push one button and you'll be back running. You know what I mean? But, ladies and gentlemen, I noticed the end of the narcissist. I remember doing a video about, that video was called The Last Kiss. So you guys, I think you guys have not been with me for a while. There's a video I did many years ago. I called that video The Last Kiss. So that was the moment I knew that, okay, it was the end of the road. You know what I mean? I knew that it was game over. And that is the moment I actually decided, I put my foot forward and I was like, I'm walking away from this individual permanently. And there was no return. You know what I mean? So that's how I walked away from those individuals. So the same thing is happening to so many empaths around the world. The narcissist, ladies and gentlemen, they are on autoplay. You handed your life over to them during the love bomb and the trauma bond, and now you cannot get away. So the pain is going to continue in cycles. You're going to be in that cycle for some time. You'll be trapped, you'll feel trapped. You feel like you're in a very deep trance, like some kind of a very deep sleep, and you cannot wake up from that sleep. And those buttons are going to keep on being pushed because remember, ladies and gentlemen, you are feeding. By you being around a narcissist, you're actually feeding this demon. This demon survives off of the empath's energy. You guys have told you are the narcissist life support. So without you, they will collapse. And most of them, they know this, which is going to be another video as well. So there's a video coming about that kind of stuff. They know that without you, they cannot survive, so they're going to collapse. You know what I mean? So they have got to play this game for as long as it takes. Until the time is okay, this is enough, that's it. You cannot take it anymore, you have enough, you're so tired, you're so exhausted. And that is when the empath will usually put their foot forward and they're going to take their life back. So I remember one very funny thing happened in the last days with the narcissist, after leaving the narcissist in the discard. I think it was a few months or maybe a month or two, I think something like that, a month or two. This individual kept on pushing these buttons, because they have been so used to pushing a lot of your buttons and they used to enjoy and get a lot of this kind of, satisfaction from your reactions. You know what I mean? So the narcissists used to keep that kind of, they used to push those buttons every now and then. But when I left the narcissists, they kept on pushing the buttons. And this time they noticed that I wasn't reacting, you know what I mean? Because I had already now mastered all these buttons and I knew what they were trying to do. And I wouldn't react. So I stopped giving them some kind of validation and reactions, you know what I mean? And that's how they knew that, okay, so the battery is out, you know what I mean? They've been having that remote for so long and now the battery is out and it was time for me to go. So I walked away permanently, you know what I mean? But when I'm talking about pushing the wrong button, what I simply mean is that sometimes the narcissist will carry on abusing you, gaslighting you, tormenting you, torturing you, giving you those silent treatments, blaming you for everything that is wrong in the house, until you know the baggage is enough and it's too heavy for your head. And you're going to offload this baggage and walk away. That is when they push the wrong button, and most of the times they will know that they've really messed up. And most of the time, sometimes, by the time they realize this, normally it's too late, because in those moments you are too comfortable with yourself. You've been out there working on yourself, you're healing, you're shining, you're glowing, you're growing spiritually, emotionally, physically. Better life, better friends, better jobs, better home. Everything is working out better for you. You know what I mean? And they will know that for sure they have sometimes at some point pushed that wrong button, and that's when they're going to have that moment of regret. They will have that regret, I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have that regret that they have lost the best supply they've ever had, especially if you was a grade A supply. They may not really care about these other forms of these other grades of supply. The other ones, they may come after you, but they're very much concerned about the grade A supply, the one that actually stayed there all those years and took care of them. When they lost you, ladies and gentlemen, that is when it's become very real for the narcissist. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. You guys already know that I do love and appreciate your support. You can book a session with me. There's an email in the description. You can write me an email, or you may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below as well. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Desamos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.